Hello everyone, greetings to you from wherever you're watching right around the world. Thank you for joining us and welcome back to Perkins Engineering YouTube channel. This year brought to you by Automation Solutions. Massive support obviously around the world from our last few videos, but this particular episode we decided to come back to the workshop, so it's not as exciting as being on the engine dyno or fanging around a paddock in the Volkswagen, but we're back in the workshop and we want to continue our series where we look at the evolution of the three different generations of supercars. And you probably noticed straight away I've got a couple of racing seats in front of me. So on this episode I'd like to look at the seats, seat mounts and seat belts throughout those different eras. Got a couple of props here. This is a SAS seat, Australian built seat that a lot of the teams use in the 80s and early 90s. If you want some instant friends, chuck one of these bad boys on Facebook Marketplace and you'll have people right around Australia trying to get that off you because they're becoming quite a difficult item to find, and these restorations having all the original parts and inventory are very key. So this is sort of that earlier version seat, and then this particular seat is a seat that the Castrol Cougars used in that sort of 1996 era. So straight away you can see a bit more safety, a bit more comfort, and then the mounting started to copy that, beefed up mounting systems, better seats, and so on. So we used to fabricate our own seat mount, so we'll look at those in all the cars. This is a sort of an early VY, so around about that 2002, 2003 period. So it's a bent up aluminium bracket, reinforced with aircraft rivets, and that would mount to the floor, and the seats mount through either side, and that was basically it. So without further ado, what we'll do is we'll rip the covers off a couple of the cars and go check out the seats and show the differences over time. I'll start with the 1994 car, PE019, because we actually were able to find the original seat and mounting brackets for this car, thanks to Peter Dulman and his team, who kept a hold of this seat and the brackets and mounts. So we were able to utilise all of that stuff. The seat has been recovered, but it's only because it was a bit tardy, but it's the original item, so that's really cool. And you see the seat is held in by the original mounting system, so it's just a bent up folded piece of aluminium which had 4 bolts on this side through the road car floor, and then these stays were used for a little bit of rigidity to stop those mounts from flexing. So obviously with the flex, not a very safe thing, and these stays, if you like, were used to stiffen that up, and we were able to see where those stays were in both cars based on the riv nuts in the sill panels. And this is also then the mounting bolt through the side of the seat, and as you can see, it is quite a big piece, certainly not the safest thing. And another stay here going to just behind the roll cage, and it'll be the same on the other side. And you can see there's not a lot of room to the gearbox tunnel, and that's the original seat. These are brand new Willem seat belts. We had the original seat belts in the 93 car, but obviously we want to drive these cars, so we decided to put new seat belts on them. But the principle of the seat belts hasn't changed much over time. There's 2 shoulders, 2 lap belts, and a crutch belt. There's eyes there at the sides and over here where the waist belts clip to, and the same under the seat where the crutch belts hook onto, which is more visible through the rear door. There's 2 eyes there, and the 2 shoulders come right back to an eye on the trailing arm box. And you can see there's a little bit of strengthening at the back here for the rear seat mount, because that lower mount won't quite reach the floor, and the floor's not flat, so it's a fabricated mounting bracket. And if we do our little strengthening test, we have sort of beefed them up a little bit with some fiberglass repair work, but principally that's the seats from sort of 1993, 1994. So over on the 2003 car, some 10 years on, the technology hasn't changed a lot, to be fair. In around 1995 we switched to Recaro branded seats, and then their seats changed with evolution. So these had big wings on either side for head protection and a lot deeper sides on the seats, but the mounting system was very similar. Those fabricated brackets that I showed you at the top are what's used in this car, but a proper sort of seat rail is implemented into the build of the chassis, and you can see those frames here, and on the other side, a bit hard to see there, but there's a full square frame for the seat mounts to bolt onto, and there's adjustment in the seat forward and back, and then they use a little spacer up the back to change the recline and the elevation. So this has been set up how it was set up in 2003. The seat belts, these aren't the same seat belts we used in 2003. We used a Momo seat belt, but same spec. So it's actually 2 shoulders, 2 laps, but in 3-inch, whereas the previous car 93, 94 used 2-inch in the width across here. So these are 3-inch, 2 waist belts and a center crutch belt. And you see on the other side, the mounting system is the same, and mounting to the floor, and then the eyes for the waist belts are basically in the same spots, mounted through the floor. And again, you look through the rear door to see an eye mounted to the floor with a big stainless D-shackle holding the shoulder straps in place. And there's another shot of the rear of the car, the rear of the seat I should say. We see the seat brackets and those waist straps mounted in. This is now a Kevlar seat, whereas the SAS seat was fiberglass, so a lot more strength and not a lot of movement at the top, so a lot more safer with the evolution of technology. But as you'll see on the next car, there's a lot more safety enhancements again. So over on the current generation supercar, the HRT VF Commodore we've got in the workshop, you'll notice straight away the seat is a lot different in its visual appearance. So the side head restraints are a solid section now, big beefed up shoulder supports, and these are a really cool seat, a lot safer than what we used to use in the past, and with that comes a hefty price tag. They're available in full carbon and a cheaper version fiberglass, which is what's currently in this car, but yeah, still a really good safe seat, and they match different FIA standards to all of the other seats that we've shown you so far. Seatbelt technology, very similar still. We still run 2 waist, 2 lap belts and a crutch strap, but it's actually back to the 2-inch across here, because they've been able to change the way they do the technology, and they're a lot better made, and they do go back to a 3-inch where you tighten them up through the buckle. And the mounting, I guess, is actually not as dissimilar as you may think. It's still got a mounting eye on the floor, but a slightly different buckle to hold the belt and fasten the belt. And then the seat mount's probably the biggest difference now. They're homologated item, billet aluminium, so that's the Walkinshaw homologation with the Confederation of Australian Motorsport, homologated for the 2 different positions, a forward and a rear spot, which can be shifted here. So currently the seat's in the forward position, and then the seat can go back to that next hole, and then there's 4 holes on the sides to lift the seat up and down. This seat's currently set up where it was in 2015, and you see it's a very comfortable seat as well, and really hugs you in, and like I said, a lot of safety elements. One of the biggest difference with the shoulder strap mounting is at the back here. The shoulder straps needed to be mounted around the roll cage tubing, so they're quite short, they don't come back to the floor, and this is a very rigid point to fix the seat mounts, the seat belts too. And you'll notice straight away there's now a rear mount as well, so very safe. the homologated rear mount, which braces across the back of the seat and then mounts to that horizontal bar as well. So it's a very rigid system, very safe. And we'll see if we can move it. Not at all. So there you have it. That's the seat belts, seats and seat mounting systems in the 3rd generation supercars. Well, I trust you enjoyed that episode of Perkins Engineering, looking at the different seats in the different cars. The basic technology hasn't changed a lot, but the safety certainly has. And you know, even sitting in this old seat's not as comfortable as the ones we sit in now. But got to thank Automation Solutions for their support this year. They're an Aussie family business providing flexible automated systems that suit your business. So custom robotic solutions, PLC machine controls, machine folding, palletizing, lots of different stuff. So check them out. Facebook is Automation Solutions Australia. Website automationsolutions.com.au. Brett, the owner, doesn't mind a road trip. He services a lot of regional areas, so look him up, give him a call, support the people that are supporting us by bringing you more and more content. So big thanks to Automation Solutions. perkinsengineering.com.au, hats and t-shirts, all different stuff there. Thanks for the support, and we're looking forward to bringing you more videos soon.